Yo, yo, yo. It's Thursday night. We're back. I got a topic. I even brought up visual aids to share
Oh,
on
really?
screen. So
Okay.
we're ready to rock.
Okay.
With that being said, it's Reverse Polarity. I'm your boy High Five Vega.
Hey.
Joined as always by Dean, Smashworks Productions, 5 Star Car Stereo, and
Curmudgeon. Just
general car audio traveler.
hey, Ken.
Has
Fine.
wires, will travel. Has zip ties, will travel. What's up, Ken?
Yeah. It's funny. I never travel with zip ties.
Yeah, they just have them there for you.
I would think so. Sorry,
Yeah.
just got out of the shower.
There you go.
So gotta get the drip valves cleaned.
What's up, Timmy D?
Um. Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of nice to travel, but you just traveled, so we'll talk
Yeah.
about that on the next show. Um, but and I'm traveling next week, and I'm actually looking forward to it because there's no plane fight involved.
Oh, there you go.
But a very long car ride, which
Like how long car ride?
it's to the other coast, so that's like
Choo, Jesus.
yeah. Which, although you people will think, man, from one coast to the other, Florida does not look that wide. It's not what there's one road,
Yeah.
and it sucks, and it's like it sucks. So
But, I mean, traffic pretty much sucks in Florida.
I mean, it's funny too because it does suck, but it's nothing like California traffic
Yeah.
or like we've been to some places that have epic traffic. Like you're
Yeah.
just like Jesus Christ. Like by far, California has like some epic traffic. What is it? Uh, Arizona, Phoenix. Phoenix has some like epic traffic. The difference is a lot of
Uh-oh. We lost Dean. He will be back. This happened last week. But speaking of traffic, I have been stuck on I-10 in Florida, and it is not fun. Here he is. He's back.
I don't know why it does that now. The difference is that like here we only have one road.
Yeah.
Like those places, there's like back roads and you can like shimmy around things. Florida wasn't designed that way. We were designed by idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same guy that designed Busch Gardens, I think, is the guy that designed our road systems. And if you've ever been to Busch
I was
Gardens,
just saying I've been stuck on I-10 for several hours, and it was
Yeah.
not fun. Yeah.
we're just stupid. Anyways, what's up, Miguel?
So I seen you put tweeters in the lab. That was your video for today, right? Or yesterday?
Oh yeah. So there was a mix-up in the videos this week.
Yeah.
Because like I screwed up is the easiest way to put it. I screwed up and I reposted a video, but wasn't supposed to be a video. So like the artwork was right, but the video was wrong for the kicker thing, which will be up tomorrow. And so I'm like, wait a minute, what did I? But yeah, we did the tweeters in Fernando's. We did that back before we came to World Finals.
Oh, okay.
So that's when we actually filmed that to give you an idea of the backlog we're under, or how we pre-film things. But yeah, no, they're fun. Those were fun. Hey Dean, quick question: would it be a good move to go from the KW XR 606 DSP to the audio control D6 1200?
That's
So
that's one that only works with certain head units, right?
Yeah. So the DSP in the XR 606 is very, 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 very limited and is no longer supported. So it's not a matter of if you're going to replace it, it's when you're going to replace it.
Right.
So like if you can get a deal on a D6 1200, yeah, go for it. It's totally worth it. That was a great amp for its time. Because it was one of the first and only DSP amps that were iData compatible. I still have one of my own that will never get used because, I still have an old iPad that'll work it, but they just don't support it anymore. So, if everything sounds fine and you don't need to use it, and it's like if everything is tuned and it's working and everything is great, rock it till the wheels fall off. But if an opportunity presents itself to where you can get another amplifier, now I will say Obviously, the DSP and the D6-1200 is 100 times better, which means to say that it has way more adjustments. It's going to be a little bit more complicated to use for sure. And the D612 only has one set of outputs, whereas the 606 had two sets of outputs. So depending on what you're trying to do there. But the nice thing is you can set it with a laptop instead of an iPad or a phone, which, back when that came out, we were all excited about and then realized how stupid it was.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to have that if you also can plug a USB into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's cool if you want to make a small adjustment on your iPad or your phone.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But it can't be the only input, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. But anyways, there you go.
Yeah.
No 5 minutes with 5-star this week. We've been doing 5 minutes with 5-star all week. Like this week has been like today was the only day we hadn't done it. We had an RV.
Man, Melissa, you just got Uno reverse card right there.
No, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Let me make sure it actually went up to the right page. Like, geez, oh man, because
Here you go, RJ. Justin Silva's got one. Practically new for sale. Used for 1 month. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Justin's a good guy too. I would trust Justin.
I just tested something for Justin.
It
didn't work out as good as we hoped.
Yeah. Okay. Let me figure out how to use my phone. Because another stereo Steve. No, it's all there. Okay. Yeah. I didn't screw
it. At the YouTube collab?
Yeah, there's actually 4 videos up this week. So I meant the YouTube collab. Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry. Monday, yes, there was not a 5 minutes of 5-star up because we only filmed because Fernando left. My week went to shit as expected. And I only did live one day, and it really wasn't enough to I don't know. It's up. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. It was only like a 10-minute video, if that. So I was like, nah, I'll just roll it into another week.
There you go.
Answers. Yeah. Sorry. Jillian now.
Garmin. Oh my God.
We covered that last week. Let's not go back.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. I trust me. This week, I don't know what my brain went sideways, and it's like I'm like,
things
wait a minute.
Happened.
Yeah, because so here's where it all started. Here's where my week went weird as far as content went. Was Brian wanted to record the podcast Friday nights.
Friday night. All this that happens after is Brian's fault or because of Brian's actions.
Okay, sure. Brian. So Brian wanted to record the podcast Friday night, which normally Friday night I don't do anything because it's Friday night and we do family stuff. And he's like, I got to do it Friday night. I was like, fine, we'll do it Friday night. And so Sunday morning was Easter. So I only had time to edit one of the podcasts just to get it up. And I changed some settings in my laptop when I do that to make it an audio only, even though because we do record the video aspect of it, but nobody wants to see Brian sitting on the couch like this
with his mic right there.
Mic right here. Well, it used to be there. Now he has a Nessie.
Yeah.
And he was causing some feedback issues because somebody stole his mic, which is sad.
Right.
Because it does not sound as good as the mic. I'm like, where the hell did I put my mic? It's sitting over there. Anyways, so I edited it real quick because it was Easter and I got it up and I got and then I stopped. And normally when I'm done, I switch everything back and I didn't. So then the next day I wasn't thinking. And so I output the Wednesday video as audio only. And I had 2 kicker videos sitting on my desktop. So when I grabbed one, it said I grabbed the wrong video because this one wasn't highlighted. So I didn't see it because it's not a downloadable content or it's not a YouTube friendly content. And then my guy at Kicker called me the next morning or texted me the next morning and says, I think you uploaded the video twice. And what also happened was I had put up the video we did for quick DSP tips on Dean and Fernando's car stereo clips of the same Kicker EQ app the same night. So I thought he was talking about that and not this. And then The next night I went to edit it all again, and I'm like, holy crap, this is all screwed up. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I did wrong. So everything just went to shit.
Everything.
So it's just like,
Man.
what model Shure mic does he have? He had
the SM7B.
What is it?
SM7B.
Yes, it's the SM7B with the whatever the hell this thing is.
Word on the street is you're not cool unless you have that.
Oh, dude, this is a sexy ass mic.
Yeah.
Like, I would do this show with it, but I hand hold it. I literally just hold it like hold it like this.
That's why I don't use, because I would have to have it like this for it to sound the way it's supposed to sound.
So I sit and talk like this when I do the podcast.
Yeah.
And then I'll move it away when I take my drink. So every now and then you'll hear the cling, cling, cling. And then I'll put it back like this, and I'll try to move it when I see.
And if you like, even the distance I have mine, if you're this far away, it's going to sound like you're 7 foot away.
Yeah. So, and Brian will sit there with it like this.
Yeah.
But the Nessie, he lets roll down. And I'm like, and I was like, why do I hear myself? Dude, move your mic. It was next to a speaker, and I was like, move it away. So,
what's up, Ashy?
Rob Dean, how's it going? It's going.
Bobby B's in there in the house.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So anyways, yeah, that was, and we did talk about how it got stolen on the podcast. So what about Fernando?
It was the last one was a good podcast about using other vendors' products.
Yeah. I actually just got done listening to it today.
Because there's a lot of people don't know about Sounds Good, right? I would say the inner circle knows, you know what I mean?
Right.
And,
they do a lot of business, so.
Right. But I think that maybe people outside that have never even considered it.
Miguel is probably, he's got a full Sounds Good stereo with the exception of, he bought the amps from us and we wired them up.
They make so much awesome
He's
stuff.
the guy I was talking about in the podcast, by the way.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about Miguel.
Yeah. So, there you go. Yeah, they make cool. They make amp rack. They make a bunch of cool stuff. You guys should definitely go to the website and just check out what they got.
So, remind me after the show to tell you what we did to Sage. I can't tell you on here because it's personal stuff, and I don't have permission to do that. But it's so funny because, I'll tell you after the show. I'm sorry.
You guys can't know, but I will know later. That being said, I have a topic today.
Oh, thank God.
What's the best subwoofer of all time? And I have a list.
Oh,
I have a list. So you want to say now? I have a list. I'm going to tell you how I have it sorted.
Okay.
I have legendary subwoofers, things that I think are legendary status.
Okay.
Wild subwoofers. So just something that's kind of crazy. And then I have my list of honorable mentions. I have bass head subs of old. So old school bass head subs. I have newer subwoofers. I have dream subwoofers.
Okay.
Then I have budget bangers.
Okay.
So I've got a whole list. Where would you like me to start? Start with legendary and work back, or start with the budget banger?
Let me answer Michael's questions really quick because it's one of those things that okay, you know this because you've had these, and honestly, the 3 series that they make, because they update it all the time, is probably the best one that they make. The 705 is an antique that they just keep in the line for people that look for 5 volts. I believe the 3 series was always the best sounding one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the thing about the 5 volts is like you only get it at the very top end of
it
the
doesn't matter.
volume.
It doesn't matter.
It's like
the functionality and the sound.
It'll do like 3 volts in the mid range. If there's doing that, you're fine.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's start with dreams. Let's
start with dreams. Okay.
Let's start with dreams because dreams are what make the world go round.
So the top of my list. Let me share my screen. I have one. Let me make sure I do the right one. This is one of my dream subwoofers. You may have actually had one of these. The Morel Elate Carbon subwoofer. This is the woofer, but the subwoofer.
Yeah. So I have one of those. I have I don't know which one I have, but I have one of them. 5.1 inch voice coil monster. Yep.
Yeah. These things are absolutely. I just picked the first picture, and it's actually just the driver. But
that's
the subwoofer itself. I think is around $12.99 for a 10 or a 12. Yeah. But they are just absolutely beautiful.
we did 210s and the Brax system we did for subwoofers in a big ported box, and they were so luscious. I mean, for tens and like 1,000 watts, 500 each.
Yeah.
Big ported box, down firing with a weird port that we made or designed. God, they sounded so good.
Yeah, these things they're just, I mean, they're literally dream subwoofers. I also on my list, the Focal Utopia subwoofers. I haven't heard them. I've heard the woofers like in a home tower, but never the subs. Another one, the Rockford Fosgate 19, the Power 19.
Got one of those.
That thing that's a sick subwoofer.
Totally agree.
No doubt about it. And then my last one on dream subwoofers is, I actually have a few of these, but it's a different kind of dream. It's a little bit more budget friendly. It'd be a Solo X for a lot of people.
Okay.
They're an expensive sub, but they're not unobtainable. So if you need, and they're not like a sound quality sub. This is for getting loud, and I think that's pretty.
Can we also say one thing about subwoofers is that they don't last forever,
right?
So unlike an amplifier where it's aluminum and it's sexy, a subwoofer it's a tough thing to collect or just to have because gravity and age and heat, and even if you don't use it, it starts to break down.
It expires as soon as the day you get it. It starts the expiration process. That's as a collector myself.
Yeah,
like subs take up a lot of room, so you have to really be careful about what subs you're collecting.
Materials degrade.
They take up room. If you leave them flat the whole time like this for many years, the coil will sag.
Yeah,
you can rotate them. You can do different things, but they will start deteriorating. I mean, old subs are only going to be good so long.
Right. So that is one of the bad things. Like that's why a lot of this, like for example, like the T19 that we have.
Yeah.
It was never going to get played. I wanted it because it looked impressive, and the materials that it's made out of, they're not going to degrade in my lifetime as far as the looks and the feel and all that. So I don't really have anything to worry about there. Yeah. And I wanted it because it looks cool like a Christmas tree.
Right.
So, I mean, we literally when we got it, first thing I pull the box and goes, "This is going to be our Christmas tree," which we didn't put up last year, which really sucked. But we will be putting up this year for sure, 100%. Because
what's like I've had, I've got a Mohawk sub over here, which is like one of the original Kicker,
cool, and
it's absolutely looks mint. But if you put power in that thing, that foam surround is toast. It looks mint, feels supple. But I just seen too many times with JL subwoofers. They were new old stock, and they might play for a couple days, a couple weeks, but they're gone. It's just a matter of time.
I mean, I have an Elma Gates sub that I think she took out of her car and backed over it.
Yeah.
But I have it, and it's a piece of history. It looks like shit, and like only a handful of people will appreciate what it is. But I'm one of them. I think it's cool. I mean, at some point, somebody that's a way bigger fan than me will come along, and it'll move on to them.
Right.
Hopefully that's the goal with a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Is that so I just sold Turin's Vega V Flex. Yeah.
I have one sitting that Derek gave me right next to the Mohawk. Really, the only things I need to get rid of more stuff. The only things I really like collecting are things like that. Things that. Yeah. Like I have a Punch 225 too. Before they went black and grind, then when they were gray, that a buddy sent me. That's my first real amp I ever got. And then I have a Hyphonics Vega EQ. I have the Vega. Most anything Cardia said Vega, I try to have one of them. So
right.
Just because.
Wow. Vega. I got an HX 215. There you go.
Yeah. Those are nice.
So the thing I like about the Focal woofer. Like the only reason I would have the Focal woofer is for the red magnets. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's the only woofer I would ever want to add to the collection.
Yeah.
Be that just because it looks so freaking cool. But I would be equally as happy with, like a sundown version of that.
Right.
because they're equal. I just like that motor structure with the magnets built that way. I think it's just really cool. So there again, it's red, it's flashy, it's cool, but that's really the only reason why I would want to add one of those to my collection. Is I like the idea of the magnets around the voice coil like that, creating that magnetic field. I think is pretty sweet.
So, what dream subwoofer would you add to the list? Do you have one?
So, and kind of wanted to start out the thing like this is I lost my love for subwoofers thanks to people. I used to have an affinity for subs. I used to think, but then it got to the point where, you know, as a sales guy and an installer, it became a battle. Like, you know, you'd be like, dude, you know, and what happens is you just lose your love for it, because, you know, it's like, I know this woofer is better, I have experience, I've built the box, I've seen them, I've done all these things, but yeah, okay, so you're whatever fucked up thing is going on in your head is telling you this one is better. So, you know, even if I get you to go with mine, in the back of your head you're still thinking, well, it would sound better if I just gone with mine, I settled. You know, so yeah. You just get beat down over the years. And so, like, when someone comes in, if they're like, oh, I have to have a W3, we don't sell W3. I was like, oh, no problem. We'll get you a W3. I'll find somebody, you know, we got plenty of guys. I'll find you a W3 so you can have your subwoofer. Because even though I know I can make something that we have in stock, ready to go, sound fantastic,
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't want to waste my time on that at all.
Has anybody ever came in and wanted a W3?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really? That's surprising, because I always think of jail like either I'm getting the W7 or I'm getting like the W1. You know, I'm getting either the cheap one or the best one.
I mean, it says most people play the subs way too loud. That was the point, was to play the subs way too loud. That's literally why we got into this, was to bang.
That's how everyone got into it.
You know?
Yeah.
So the stroker, like everyone keeps mentioning, to me it is definitely one of my unicorn subwoofers that I've been trying to get my hands on for years, just to play with. I think it was a cool idea. I think it's neat. I always appreciated what they did, and even back in the 90s when they had the original OGs, that was really cool.
Right.
So I kind of like that. If I could have any woofer back from the past, I think I would want the back in the day, Alpine made a white cone Z series woofer. It was like a ZX or a ZR or some shit.
I know
like
exactly
that.
what. And they had on Fast and Furious. They had those subs. And
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they
were
white.
So cool when the bass was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were white, and that's what started the like. So it's what is it? So they named them after tires. So it was a Z-rated tire.
It's the ZX.
Yeah. So either way, I had those. That was my go-to woofer, because it would work in anything and it would put out bass. It like needed no airspace. It could be downfiring, it could be shallow, it could be big, it could be ported. It just sounded really good. It wasn't an amazing woofer. It was just a Swiss Army knife of woofers that no matter what I put it in, it always worked.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just a piece of history that it's like, oh, I got one of those. You know, that would really be it. So
that's, you know, going back to the Servo Vega Stroker. That's on my list of legendary subwoofers.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been around since the late 70s. I actually have a 15 that I plan on doing a video on sometime, but I have not. So that's
all right.
Man.
All right, well, let's just do legendary then, so we can get those off the board.
All right, let me hit you with a few I have here.
Okay.
This one you may or may not consider legendary. We'll see. The first gen W6, JL Audio W6.
I could appreciate that.
Yeah, I loved the first gen. They were loud.
Around.
Yeah, they were loud for the time.
Phones.
They were just clean. They sounded so good.
Can we say that the tubs that they would sell to put them in were way more popular than the woofers themselves?
Oh yeah, for sure. Dude, there is a Facebook group for people that just does that.
Just does the tubs?
Yeah, they collect and trade, and they make copies of them.
Tubs, I wanted a set of those tubs so bad.
Yeah,
and from the magazines. scale is not always the same. Then when we finally got a set of them to play
Yeah.
with, I was like, I don't. This is like the dumbest thing ever. Like, why would any like this takes up so much space? Like, literally, the first thing we did when we built this guy's system was take those things out because it was like they're taking up so much airspace.
Yeah.
Like,
It
this,
looked cool though.
this is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, let's just build a box for 410s. Shit.
Yeah.
Let's build a box for 810s. You have 810s. It should be
Right.
10 times louder than this.
Exactly.
You have 810s and in a fucking like it was an Explorer.
Yeah.
There's 4 here and 4 here with crap in the middle. I'm like, my box guy at the time was like, can we pull all this shit out and just build a 4/8 ported? And I go, he's your customer, man. Do whatever the fuck you want. You know? Oh my god, that guy shit his pants when we rebuilt that thing. He was like, "What? This is my same system?" We're like, "Yeah, those guys sucked." But that was cool. You know, and those were expensive and this guy had a lot of money, so they saw him coming.
Melissa already hit on another subwoofer that I thought I had my legendary category. The original PPI flat pistons.
Yeah.
Those things, and Alma Gates in my mind was really who got me looking at those. That was one of her first bass systems was in the Bronco was the flat piston 10s, and it was nasty.
Yeah. So somebody just said Soundstream. Soundstream used to have this woofer. This was kind of towards the end of Soundstream that was called the Mule.
I remember.
Yeah. And it had it said Mule and it had like a Bronco logo.
Kicking it, yeah.
Yeah, and the goal there was like these were supposed to be these like badass sealed woofer. Anytime anyone ever says that I have a badass sealed woofer, fuck you. Okay? Because there is no such thing as a badass. Like, no, man. Downfiring maybe, fucking horn, slap a... No, man. 1 cubic foot, 10-inch. It sucks every goddamn time.
Yeah.
Like,
especially that's not, they're kind of on my list, but that's why the original Solo Barrack is not on my legendary list because it was 0.33, 0.66, 0.88.
They sounded like ass.
But here's the thing, they were like, these do not go in a seal box, let me tell you, or a ported box. Those things actually work really good in a ported box.
Yes.
And they sound way better, but...
Oh, yeah, but the power handling goes to shit.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and they were afraid that everyone, if you tell everyone it's a 500 watt, but in a ported box it's 150. But you'll get more power out of it at 150.
And this is controversial. In place of the Solo Barrack for legendary subwoofers, I put the Kicker XPL first gen, the ribbed surround, the ribbed cone.
Okay.
First gen, it was a pretty low power handling, efficient subwoofer that just sounded so crispy. It was nice. So I think a lot of people would pick the Solo Barrack. Me personally, the first gen XPL was
Dude,
my
that woofer. When I was building boxes and they would bring those in, and I'd look at my owner and I'd be like, dude, we have never. Why would you like? Why?
Yeah.
Like we have never built a box that sounds good with these. And he'd be like, that's cool. He didn't care. He wanted them to sound like trash. He was vindictive like that. He was like, just fine. Build whatever the spec is. If it sounds like shit, it's not our problem. He should have bought ours. And I'm like, that's like, dude, I'm building a custom trunk flush. Like, if it sounds like shit, we don't have anything that works in this airspace either. He goes, well, that's okay. He shouldn't have bought them. He could just pay to have it all redone. I'm like, I don't want to redo it.
He was vindictive.
Oh yeah, he was a dick.
Yeah,
so in a good way.
I had another legendary subwoofer for Kicker that I put on here. The L7 didn't make the list for legendary. Still pretty new. It made another list though. The Kicker competition.
The gold series one that they made. Is that
no? I'm thinking of the first gen of the black cone. With the red and white logo. Just Kicker competition.
I'll take your word for it. Like, Kicker was not popular back then. So for us, just never saw it.
That's crazy. Like around here, Kicker amps weren't popular at all. But of course, we're right next to Oklahoma.
Yes.
But that was like one of the main JL Audio and Kicker. That was it.
Yeah. So, we sold a shit ton of Image Dynamic back in the day.
This was one that I forgot about, but the IDQs were awesome. The
We
original
sold
IDQs.
so much Image Dynamic. Oh my god! And then they went out of business. That was that dude. When we got that woofer, that was a game changer because we were literally coming off of because the Ryan went away, and we were just searching for a new woofer, and we tried everything. Like we tried Kicker, we tried, Soundstream, and then we found Image Dynamic showed up one day, and it was like, oh, and oh my god, for the short run of that woofer, like of that company, oh my gosh, like the only thing better than that was the original Diamond. When the original Diamond woofers came out,
was it the Mac Daddy?
So no, the original Diamond, you had like D3s and D5s. The D5s were shit because they didn't know how to design tinsel leads. So then it came out with the D6, and then they had the Hex.
Yes, the Hex,
which is that giant thing with the neodymium, and that thing was so badass. And then the D7 and D9s came out much later after the company was already kind of different.
Yeah.
So once Max Factor pulled his money out of it and they stopped building computer speakers, the company got weird.
This is T. Corley's right. So I don't know if you had them around here, but Virtual Technologies, they were the first time I seen a slot ported enclosure.
Oh, really?
In my life. And those subs were relatively cheap subs, but compared to the PVC pipe ported subs that I'd heard before, I just like, oh my god, these things are amazing.
That's all we ever built was slot ports.
Yeah,
we were too cheap to buy PVC.
Yeah.
So plus I'd have to get a hole saw. Screw that shit. So, there was another one that was real popular around here for a while, which was Oz Audio.
Oh yeah, they were like. Here's the thing with Oz. They're like Bose, right?
Yeah.
They're using the cheapest shit they can.
Yes.
They look cheap.
Yes.
But they sound pretty good. I mean, I don't think Bose sound
these are ride or dies, man. Everyone that had those was they were fucking smoking whatever those guys were putting out, man. They were.
They still are, I think.
And I'm like, dude, that's a sticker on the dust cap.
Yeah.
So they can't even afford to get the dust cap silk screened.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how good could this be?
So we talked about Soundstream. One of my legendary lists is the Velvet Hammer.
I've never even heard of it.
You never heard of it? It's the SSR10, I think. I have one here. It's got coil rub, but it was like kind of in my day in the 90s. It was like the legendary sound quality subwoofer.
Okay. I mean,
and I think I can't remember who wrote the article. Somebody wrote the article in one of the magazines, and that's kind of, they named it the Velvet Hammer, and it was that ever after that.
That's cool.
So that's
a great name.
Yeah.
I mean, if I come out with a woofer, I'm going to call it the Velvet Hammer.
There you go.
I feel like they already have a Velvet Hammer, but whatever.
Well, and it wasn't even named that. It was just coined by the.
That's what I'm saying. If it's not taken, I'm taking that one.
Let's see what else I have here. I have what about the JBL GTI?
Oh,
this is also an incredible sounding subwoofer and looking, man. This thing is just
dude. I want one of those so bad.
Dude, me too. These things. As a matter of fact, my buddy just got a 10 back. I think I'm gonna try to trade him out of it because I want one as well. It won't work in his application.
That's a badass. That's definitely. I always forget about that one, but I have the speakers to match it. So, I want a 12. I don't want a 10. I want a 12.
Yeah, which I think was the main. That was the original. Yeah. It was the 12 that came out. Yeah. They're just so sick.
Yeah. And we have a really great relationship with JBL, but I just don't think the woofer exists at the moment.
I don't think so. Yeah,
they were supposed to bring it back, but
And this is a kind of a, as far as like SQ goes, it's kind of like a legendary sub.
I just think it looks impressive. You know.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's like I said. You know, when to me, listen, basic generic basket going into a big dumb magnet is not attractive. Okay. You know,
Right.
quad stacked, whatever.
Right.
No, man. That's why that's like some of those. That's there again. There are manufacturers. I always refer back to Sundown because that's really all I know.
Right.
That make these very impressive. And I know there's a bunch of them. I just, it's not my wheelhouse. But I like when you have that aluminum basket going down to like rails, and you know, it's like there's, even if it doesn't sound good, it looks like it should just absolutely destroy. You know, because it's like, dude, look, we have bars around the magnets because they're that insane.
Sundowns they're kind of one of the companies that takes time to get that look. They're not just going to accept whatever. They want a certain look to their
look, I know no one's going to see it, but you know,
right.
The Eclipse Titanium was there again, pretty dust cap.
And that's on a different list, but let me share one more that we already talked about. So this is the flat piston.
Yep.
Not this one. This is the new crappy one, but the old pancake magnet right there. That's the legit ones right there.
Yeah, that they were just buying from somebody else and putting a cone on.
Right.
Oh, what is it? Didn't Extant have that like 6-sided subwoofer?
Yeah,
like
they did.
Yeah.
It was the hexagon. I should have. So I have on my list weird subwoofer.
Okay.
Let's finish legendary. The last one I want to add on the list. I think everyone agree with this. The Gel Audio W7.
Oh yeah, I mean
it's been since what 2002 or 2006 or something. It was out before the iPhone.
Forever.
Yeah. And they're still selling it today with new revisions, but still.
Yeah, I mean, well, for how much longer, who knows? But
right.
Yeah.
Let's see how much Garmin lets them.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, we really don't need that anymore. That's not going in a boat. We don't need it.
Let's start with the weird subwoofers. Should I go super crazy or just like
just hit it?
All right, let's go super crazy with it. And right here. So our buddy Derek actually did a video on this on one of the old school meets, the 32-inch Clarion.
Dude.
Do you remember that?
Oh God, yes. Because so every sound device got one.
Oh, really?
Okay. Oh yeah, every sound device got one. And we were gonna get one because we're like, no one's gonna have one of these. We should, and then we found out every sound device was gonna have, and they had it on display in the middle of the. So really, like, very few of these went into vehicles. Most of them just kind of sat in stores and looked cool.
This one was put in for the meet, but outside of that, I've only seen one other real life system back in the day that had it.
Yeah, like before I started at AVE, they'd done this friend of mine at the time. They did his car, and he had some 27-inch Fane woofers in his car. White cones. They had to spray paint them black because they're, they were sounded like shit. Because they just didn't have good woofer technology back then. But yeah, that was the woofer that just I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah. And this our local shop here was Stereo One in Fort Smith. They had one, and they had one in a vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried really hard. I mean, I'm pretty sure they cleared out the warehouse on them.
Yeah, but it's a cool piece of history.
Yeah.
It's definitely crazy. This is one I forgot to add on my weird list, but definitely a weird subject.
I thought you were gonna. That's where I thought you were gonna drop. Was
the
Cyclone? I was gonna be like, dude, that's not a woofer.
Yeah, I really completely forgot. I was racking my brain thinking like, okay. I even text Derek like, Derek, what woofers? So he gave me a couple, but we both forgot the Cyclone.
Yeah. But
the next one, let's see here. I feel like this is in the same vein as the jackhammer.
Yeah.
The Pimp My Ride subwoofer that they use the hoist on and everything.
Yeah. That's basically where it always hung, was from a hoist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then was no one ever. Yeah. Cool woofer. See there again. It looks impressive. It's fantastic.
Cool display.
I don't want that one in my collection.
No, me neither.
It's
And
just,
then there's the picture of the Pimp My Ride.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like, I mean, like if you had two of them like that and you made end tables,
Yeah.
that'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool, actually. Yeah.
You know, like just nice glass top,
Right on top.
end
Yep.
tables.
The
But
rubber would hold the
outside of,
glass. You'd be perfect.
yeah, outside of that, it's too big. It's too
And so
much.
I didn't want to do 2 MTX, but the one they also done the RFL.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
No.
Super huge, kind of like that, but it was red.
Yeah.
So that was another one on there. Oh, this is a good one. I know you remember this one. I wonder if you guys sold this one. So our buddy Living Loud with Andy done a video on the Triangle Bazooka.
Oh yeah, we had that.
Yeah. Did you have the water cooled one too?
No.
Yeah.
we got that in for something, like, because we sold a lot of bazooka. Like we had
really?
like one summer that we just sold, so like the Fast and Furious summer.
Yeah.
We sold so much bazooka at the time, and I was like, why are we selling this crap? Like everyone was so excited that we had bazooka.
Yeah.
And I was like, does nobody remember this stuff just sounds bad?
Yeah. I thought they're entry level subs for the money. I thought they were okay.
Everyone wanted the tubes, man, and the tubes just sucked.
Oh, bazooka tubes, yes. I should have added that in weird. That was a whole weird stage. But yes,
yeah, we sold.
Those really do sound bad, but I guess if you got a stock system and you want just a little bit, I mean, I don't know.
There was no such thing as a stock system back then.
Yeah.
Okay, because like everybody, like, no, it was, and then you try to put them in, and everyone's like, they're not tight. It's like, yeah, because it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
How do you can't strap them in? Yeah, hated Mono bazookas. Give me nightmares. Yeah, it was just it sucks so bad. And then you'd break the plastic clip on it when you're trying to tighten it up, and the customer would come back because they broke the plastic clip, and you're like, hey, put a goddamn bungee cord on it. Leave me the fuck alone.
Dude, I've seen people put like 6 and 8 of those.
Oh yeah.
In there. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You feel the same way everyone else feels about a triangle sub. That's dumb.
Yeah.
like why? I mean, just cutting the hole for it was a pain in the ass. But that's probably why most people learned out, like, you either use the jigsaw or a jig. I guarantee you 99% of the people were using jigsaws.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because nobody had a jig.
No.
So except for Melissa. She had a jig.
Yeah, of course. She's a professional.
Dude. No, man. Professionals use jigsaw.
So I had 2 more on my weird subwoofer list. One of them, I don't have the screen pulled up, but it's normalized now, but the Kicker L7 square subwoofer,
right?
That shit was weird. Like when it came out, there was so many rumors about, it's going to sound bad because it has square waves. And when you're a young kid, at that point, I think I was like 20. Like I'm not deep diving into this. I don't know. So I'm like, oh yeah, the local red. Like no, those sound bad, man. You got to get the regular round solo, the new L7. But I did get the new L7, the 2001 when it came out, and that thing was an absolute banger. It was expensive, but as far as like doing competitions like I was at the time with single sub, it was an absolute banger.
Yeah, I think the only thing anyone ever would complain about, like when they were like, "Oh, you don't want those," it was because of the corners. Like, just in the corners they tear or some shit like that, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, whatever.
But here's a weird one. I bet you know about this. Maybe not. I don't know. Do you know what that is?
Not a clue.
That is the IllumiPro M16 subwoofer.
Oh, yeah.
So this thing is freaking huge. It's like the jackhammer size. It's not as heavy.
Right.
But it's all aluminum cast frame, aluminum cone. Did you have any IllumiPro at all?
No, we never got into that.
I loved IllumiPro. They were kind of like an underground thing around here, but they were so.
Oh no, IllumiPro has always been that, like, and you're like, I've never heard it, never seen it, never. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And there again, that time, if you'd have come to me with something like this, I'd be like, it's trash. Yeah, you'd be like, "Are you kidding me? No, it's trash. Wasn't in my wheelhouse. It's
Yeah.
just trash. It's like, sorry, it's not what we sell. It's trash."
Right.
The thought
Exactly.
of there
No,
being something better out there than what we sold at the young, naive self that I was.
yeah.
It was not. It was like, dude, it's like, no, this is it.
That's the joke between me and Derek is if I never heard about it, it's a flea market brand.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's like, I can't. There was one that was definitely not a flea market brand, but I'm like, yeah, what's that flea market? He's like, no, this was high end. Yeah, I just didn't know. I
Yeah.
didn't know. So, and it looked kind of like
And it's a dumb name.
and it's usually a dumb name. So,
A dumb name.
yeah,
So it's almost like the name is destined to make it fail.
right.
And that's just what it is. It's kind of like rock bands. Shitty name, one hit wonders.
Yeah.
Audio Bond.
Oh, those were terrible. So these subs I really hated. I hated just the way Audio
Dude,
Bond was.
Let me
blamed
tell you
to the
what. You
max.
build a box for these and you put some flames on it. You want to talk about people that would like just oh my god. Oh my, I built so many flames in the boxes.
And you know what I imagine they look like? Like Guy Fieri with his button up that's flames on it, and they got spiked hair that's like tip color different.
No, it wasn't like that. It was just shitty flames. And then like once I learned how to stack vinyl on to create different layers to it, oh my god, you'd think people were like just oh, this is so amazing. I'm like, not really. It's just a lot of work and a lot of glue and a lot of me sitting there rubbing the vinyl and heating it up. And no, it's really not that impressive. It's just fucking a lot of work. But you're gay and you wanted these flames, so
it's Audio Bond in my area was genuinely a flea market. It was sold at the
it was totally a flea market.
But they had their first 12.
Well, it had flames, bro.
No, it didn't have flames. This was just a basic magnet 12 with the first fat round sub I've seen. And it was actually it was a decent sub, and I was like, oh well, I'm used to smaller surround subs. First fat surround, I was like, maybe there's something to this. But it wasn't a great sub. It was just I paid $60 for it and was impressed for $60.
Yeah. No, trust me, when these things rolled in, we're like, really? We got this piece of bro, no, this is the shit, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, this is terrible. So we'll go into my next setup here is basehead subs of old, and this is my last screen to share. So let's see. You probably know about this one. This is from your hood. The Match Juggernaut.
Yeah. To do logos where you trace it out on vinyl and then glue it on top of the kit. Yeah, so here's the secret to that. Okay, first things first is I bought an app for my computer that allowed me to take logos and stretch them out over regular pieces of paper. So like copier paper.
Right.
Okay. And so like you take the logo and it would say, all right, you're going to need these 3 pieces of copier paper. And then I would print it and I would glue that on top of the vinyl. I would cut it out. So it'd be perfect because I was freehanding it. Right. And people were like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I'd be like, yeah, it just took me an hour to freehand. Like the original Warhorse, I had to freehand that into a fucking box.
Oh
and
my
the dude
God.
was like, dude, that is so awesome. Like, yeah, it fucking sucked. But
and
I was not able to do it. What's that?
Cheap. It was probably cheap for what he got to. Can you imagine someone doing a box like that today by hand, what it would cost?
Yeah, so the first Bentley logo I did by hand, and it was like gorgeous, and I wanted it back, but somebody fucked it up. But by the time and then I had to do an Aston Martin one, and I was like, there's no fucking way. Like, screw that shit. And they're like, well, you did the Bentley, and I was like, yeah, but this is it's like, no. And then I found that app, and I was like, haha. So then I would photocopy it, and then I would glue it on, cut it out, and then the secret is to heat the shit out of the vinyl. Like heat the shit out of the vinyl and have a second person there holding it up. And then you start going at it and then you beat it with a hammer. Okay. And then the hammer helps and you got to keep heating it up, and you just work your way across it. Oh man, it was fantastic. Yeah. But then what you'd do is you'd stack vinyl on top of vinyl, so that you'd have that 16th inch gap, and then they'd take even more heat. But then you'd get the layers in the vinyl, and that just looked so fucking cool. Like that was neat.
Yeah, there was some dope custom boxes out there.
Yeah.
Then there were some really terrible custom boxes from shops around here. But there were some good ones as well. So
yeah. Anyways, Juggernaut for sure, man.
Juggernaut. It was a big SPL lanes. That's where I seen it. The only one that competed with it.
Great name.
Oh, it was an excellent name, and it was cool looking, like you said.
Yeah,
it had the look. The only one that competed with it around here was the DD Audio 9500. So that was the only other sub.
Remember M&M's in Godfather?
Yes, yeah, those were.
Yeah. I always thought the Godfather was just a great name for a woofer.
Yeah, and they were like the cheesiest, cheapest kind of subwoofers.
They were trash.
They were so freaking awesome. They just looked cool.
Yeah, and it was an awesome name.
Yeah, it was a great name and a great logo. The M&M logo.
Yeah.
What was it? M&M Electronics? Something like that. Yeah.
M&M out of business.
Exactly. Yeah. They were kind of like the first versions of kickers, where they're really cheap speakers, subwoofers. But they did sound good. The Godfather's subs sounded good.
Everything sounded good back then because everything was shit.
Yeah. And everything was, I think, what came off of Pro Audio.
Yeah.
So there was
I had a set of raw driver piles.
Right.
And they killed it, bro.
Yeah. And you talk to Steve Irving, you talk about he's ordering tweeters from Motorola, and Altec Lansing and stuff like that, and getting the components from there.
You worked with what you had.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So the other one I had on there were TC Sounds, which done the Eclipse Titanium and many others.
Dude, V12 amps were not; those things were badass.
Oh yeah,
that freaking V12 1500.1. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, those things are huge too. Those were huge,
dude.
And I don't know. Do you know he sadly passed? But
it's G35.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude. That thing was badass, dude. When I saw that, I go, oh damn, memory lane. Here we go. I always wanted to film that car, but we never hooked up, which kind of sucks. But yeah, oh god, dude, we sold. I have two 505 V12 experts sitting in the closet 10 feet from me.
Yeah, those were awesome amps.
Oh yeah,
no doubt about it.
Okay,
what other did I have for this? TC Sounds. So they were kind of OEM for. They done the Eclipse Titanium. They did the. You remember the little bitty subs that had an 8-inch, and then it had a passive radio on the other side. They were home audio subs,
right?
They did the subs for those. Along Ground Zero Nuke, that was one of the first bass subs around here that was kind of affordable.
Okay.
Then there was. Do you remember Cove Audio?
Yes.
So the Armageddon was also
an entry-level brand though.
So
that was that time where it was like this stuff was coming from China,
right?
And like no one knew, like, because they were still riding that American wave.
Yeah.
So like brands were just coming out and they're lying like a motherfucker, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this shit is the best," and you're just like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And it's like you find out, no, this is like some garbage ass shit that they're making, 200 points on. And I'm not saying that was Cove. I don't remember, but I mean there was just so much of that at the time that
they definitely went that way. When they started, so they definitely went that way. When they started, I remember seeing it. The guy from House of Pain, Whitey Ford, he had a full Cove Armageddon subwoofer system in the magazine in a G-Wagon.
Right.
And I was like, yo, like I could, this stuff's awesome. And that stuff was legitimate. But I don't know how long they were legitimate
for.
Yeah. And then it just absolutely went to what you would think now of Boss Audio or whatever else.
I mean, it probably always was.
Right.
They
just had a little bit better stuff
in the beginning.
Yeah. Or at least that line was good. Their other stuff at that same time could have been crap as well.
You got way too much stuff in your house, bro.
Yeah, he's got a collection, man. He
Yeah,
definitely got a collection.
Yeah. And that's
All
the
right.
thing. I as I get older, it's like there's only certain things I want, and I don't want all the other shit. Like I have way too much shit as it is.
Yeah.
So, you know.
That's kind of, I need to get rid of some stuff. I'm so lazy about it. Actually getting rid of it. Maybe once maybe I'll test that Sir One Vegas stroker and just send it your way.
Don't. Please don't. No.
Oh, so we got 5 minutes left. I wanted to talk about a few new subwoofers.
Okay, hit it.
That I think that look at. So one, if you've never looked at them before, Sundown Audio STE subwoofers.
Okay.
It's around 2 to 250, but it sounds good. It gets loud. It takes a lot of power. But it can also play. It's 750 RMS. It'll play really well at 500. Right. It's just a great all-around sub. Well, cannot recommend that.
So, yeah.
Right. Cannot recommend it. And from my experience, everything Sundown, STE, and lower I have tested, and they all sound pretty good. I think the STE is probably up there. Outside of that, since the L7, they don't have the kicker L7 Q class anymore, which was their nicest, and maybe we'll see a replacement soon. But I think people sleep on the L7S. For the price that it's at, dude, it could handle more power than the Q class for sure.
It's funny. Like we sell 0 of these. It's
really?
L7Ts, Comp RTs, dude. All we sell are shallow mount subwoofers.
Because everyone's driving a jacked up truck with the squat.
That's it. Everything's shallow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny, but yeah, it's like when you're sitting there going, "Never put them in. Never put them in." Yeah. Because we just don't. Nobody. I can't tell you like a sedan that came in. It's like I want this. It's like I did a Mustang the other day. I don't consider that a sedan.
Yeah.
But we just don't do a lot of sedans.
What's crazy too? Like if I'm picking, I would also pick the L7T. Or I'm thinking, because I love all this old school stuff, but I'm never gonna run it.
No, it's too big.
It's too big. I might run it in the Trooper for a test run or something like that. But as far as like what's in the Jeep, I got a kicker key 500.
Dude, Sage built the box for the Mustang spare tire that had the 3 shallow mount flax woofers in there.
Ooh.
I'm like, that's what I want.
Yeah,
because I use my trunk.
Exactly.
It's like
I'm the old guy now. I had one more new woofer for people to check out, and then maybe you'll have a suggestion. The Audio Frog GB series.
Oh yeah,
those are great. They're expensive. They're not. I'm not going to say they're expensive. I'm going to say that you're actually going to pay a little bit for them compared to some of these cheaper.
So that's the thing, though. The thing is what's expensive, right? What's expensive to you? What's expensive to me? What's expensive to the guy down the street? It's all relative. That's why we never talk about price, because it's like some people have fuck you money, and other people have ramen money, and it's fine. You feel where you're at, but I think one of the I would love to do more of them, but we just don't. Mainly because of the fact that I just don't fight the battle with the subwoofer as much as I used to, is that Focal Flax shallow mount subwoofer. Like it's amazing subwoofer, but I just don't want to fight that battle with these people, but it's a fantastic woofer. I think the only thing that like the other woofer is the Utopia M 10-inch shallow. Is like everyone's go-to, like, okay, you got $4,000, all right, we're putting 4 10s underneath your seat, which now everyone is like the Truly woofer. So like Gately did
the alcohol
did 8 Truly 12s underneath the back seat of his F-150. and that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
To fit 812s underneath the seat in a full acrylic box, Gately style. That was cool. I think that's a neat woofer. I don't know how it, like, I know a lot of guys that are using it and they're riding the wave of excitement
Right.
because it looks cool. And I think that's where I'm at on that. I think it looks cool.
And there people pop up with these brands of subwoofers, amps. I've never heard of them.
Truly?
Truly, Nemesis Audio.
Yeah, so Nemesis is a new entry level loudspeaker company.
Right. Yeah.
They were at Knowledge Fest. Truly is spending a ton of money doing stuff. Neat guys, neat guys, just tons of money on like some weird shit.
Right.
I have the Audisons. Yeah, I actually have an Audison subwoofer too in a box. Never been played.
I've never messed with Audison sub amps before for sure. Yeah, maybe we'll do that pretty soon. It's easy topic.
Amps are easy to do.
Right. Yeah.
Woofers are definitely harder.
Yeah.
I still think like when people talk about classic subs that they're so choked up about, it's like the Rockford HE woofers. I've always liked the Punch woofer.
The original Punch?
All of them. Like the whole Punch line.
Right.
They did the plastic cone ones back in the late 90s that were just a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
They had nothing but glue failure. But when the glue held, oh my God, the Punch P3 back in it has always just been, I'm super excited to see what's coming in that woofer with the technology that they're using now for surrounds and stuff.
These were huge in this area, and
they weren't too. They were just the enemy. So,
but the XLC, the DVC, is one of my favorite drivers of all time.
Yeah,
subwoofers wise, I just loved it. It was really, really flexible.
Yeah. See, I had to hate it on principle because we didn't sell them. So
yeah,
you're not on my team. You suck.
That's how you got to go. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So Orion coming back. Yeah, sure.
No, yeah, we already talked about that.
So when I was at the CMA in Canada, they had a car there and they had all their shit laid out with the exception of no purple amplifier, which I was kind of like, where the fuck is the purple amplifier? Like,
yeah,
it's like that's the only thing I want to see. I don't want to see any of this trash. I want to see that. Show me that. Show me how cool you are. Show me that. No, just had that loudspeaker shit.
Speaking of the Punch DVC, I always wanted and never got back in the day a Punch XLC 18. And I finally found one on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, it was like $360. Like, that's way too much money for this, right?
Oh God, yeah.
But I want it. It's something I want. I don't even care if it doesn't work. They sent me a 12. They didn't have an 18. They wrote it down. It was a pawn shop.
Oh,
like Jesus. Like, no, we're returning this. We're not.
Yeah. I think the only Rockford amp that I would like is like a power 650 with the 5 little lights on it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only one I want. I don't want anything else. I don't want a Punch 45. I don't want a Punch 150. I don't want any of that shit. It's either the 650 or the 1000. That big blacker chrome, not picky, with the 5 lights.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
The D'Amour lights, as it were.
Yeah. But but they were the bars that just
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but I think that's where it kind of all started, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
dude, got the sneezies. But that's it. That's the only Rockford amp I would ever like. And the fucked up thing was, I came across one once. A guy had one in his car, and I was like, "Dude, that's cool. You want to sell it?" And he's like, "Well, sell me something else." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do the work."
Exactly. Oh man.
Thank
all right. Well,
we
filled the time. If you guys want to hear us talk about the most disturbing thing we've ever reviewed, click the link. Watch the next show. There's a lot to discuss. There is a lot to discuss,
bro.
There is a lot. I also finished Daredevil So we can
Oh.
talk about that too.
Fantastic. Good. All right.
Lots to discuss. Don't miss it. If you guys like our nonsense, this is
All right.
even more of it.
Oh, God, yes.
We won't see you next week. Dean's going to be gone.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Good call.
Week after next. Week after next. All right. See ya.
See ya.
Let me double click it here. Nope. That's not what I want to do.
You
got
can
it
do
in
man.
stream twice. Got it in stream twice. There we go.